जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा
जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त बिंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त बिंद
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय।
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 4. Srila Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. So yesterday we read, so the Abhishek was completed, isn't it? The previous day the Abhishek is completed. We saw how they performed Abhishek with how many? So the sequence was like this. First they applied oil, lots of oil on the body of the Lord. This gave a glossy, finish. And then they performed Abhishek with Panchagavya, then Panchamrita, and then 100 pots of water with ghee. And after this, once again, they massaged the body, transcendental body, the Sri Vigraha of Sri Gopal. And then again, they, poured water and they finished the Abhishek like this. And after that, we saw nice garments were offered and garlands, sandalwood paste, tulsi garlands were offered, flowers like that. Then whatever sweets were brought by the villagers, all those sweets, sandesh, etc., was offered to Gopal, and also the milk, yogurt that they brought, all that was offered. Then lots of scented water was offered to drink. Then Achaman was performed for the Lord to rinse off. Actually, after the dressing was completed and the garlands put on, they did a dhoop and deep. They showed dhoop and deep, right? Agarbati and lamp. Then the bhoga offering, all the milk and yogurt and sweets were offered. Then water, scented water to drink. And then Maharati was performed like this. And then meanwhile, all the villagers had brought whatever rice and wheat and dal was there in the village. They brought, and the whole top of the mountain, Giriraj, was covered with all these ingredients. So then the next day morning, they started cooking for Gopal. So 10 brahmanas were engaged in cooking grains, So dal, rice, like that, 10 brahmanas. And 5 brahmanas were engaged in preparing various vegetables into sabjis. So that's what we were reading about the cooking. Let's continue. Vanyashaka, Vanyashaka vividha vyanjana, keho bada, keho badi, kadi kore vipragana. So what type of preparations are they making with these vegetables, the 5 brahmanas? Vanya shaka phala mule. So Vanya means forest, shak, green leafy vegetable, spinach. So forest spinach or spinach from the forest. Vanya shak. Phala, fruits. Mula means roots. Vividha vyanjana. So using the roots means like you have mooli and potatoes and carrots, like that, beetroots. So with various roots and with fruits, and they used fruits, like you make Krishna surprise, right? Yogurt rice with so many fruits, that's just one. You can make various chutneys with fruits, like that. So Vanya Shaka, using the spinach or green leafy vegetables from the forest, and then various fruits and roots. They prepared vividha vyanjana, varieties of preparations. Keho bada, keho bodi, kodi, kadi. Badi, badi, all of you know badi. And kadi, with yogurt they made kadi. Kare vipragana. So these brahmanas are preparing bada and badi. So Prabhupada also translates as bada and badi only because you know what it is. Then kadi from the pulp of dal. Okay, so kadhi is not like the yogurt kadhi. Kadhi is from the pulp of dal. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots, and fruits collected from the forest. And someone made bada and badi by mashing dal, right? So you mash the dal, you make it into balls or shapes, and then you make sabjis with that. In this way, the brahmanas prepared uh, all kinds of food. Okay. So that means bada and badi are made by kadi. That's what they're saying. By grinding, making into paste. The dal, they made bada and badi. So bada must be the big one, badi must be the small one. Bada badi, they made by mashing dal. So keho bada badi kadi kore vipragan. Who is making all this? The brahmanas are cooking for Gopal, Brajbasi brahmanas. Next. Janapancha sata ruti. Kore Rashi, roti, right? Jana Panch, 5 people. They started making rotis. Rashi, like mountains and mountains of rotis. They would make rotis and stack them up. Like that, so many mountains of rotis. Who? Like about 5 people they were making. Just rolling rotis and stacking them up. Yeah, exactly like Govardhan Puja. Anna Vyanjana Sabha Rohe Grite Bhasi, and all the rice preparations or grain preparations, they were cooked in what? Grita means ghee. Bhasi means it was over flooding with ghee. The sabjis, you could see the ghee floating on top. Krishna likes ghee. Anna Vyanjana Sabha Rahe Grite Bhasi, all preparations that were made with grain, they were cooked in so much ghee that it was flooding, over flooding. These preparations were over flooding. Bhasi means over flooding with ghee. Jana pancha sata, so 5 to 7 people, not just 5 people. Jana pancha sat, 5 to 7. Ruti kore rashi, anna vyanjana saba rohe grite bhasi. 5 to 7 men prepared a huge quantity of chapatis, which were completely covered with ghee, clarified butter, as were all the vegetables, rice and dal. So anna vyanjana means grains, and vyanjana means, we said, other preparations done with vegetables. So all of them were overflooding with ghee. Nava vastra patita he palashera pata, randhi tara upara rashi koila bhata. Nava vastra pati, so new cloth, right? Nava vastra. Pati means spreading. So they spread a new cloth. Tahe palashera pada. On that they spread the leaf, right, to take palasha leaf on which to serve prasad. Normally you use banana leaves, uh, so maybe in Braj you get palasha leaves. So first they spread a new cloth. On top of that they put a palasha leaf, huh? And on that, Randhi Randhi Tara Upara Rashi Koila Bhat. So as they were cooking, they were placing the rice on that leaf, Palasha leaf. They were stacking up. Rashi means like stacking up. So like a mountain. You make a mountain of rice. Randhi Randhi. Cooking and cooking, Tara Upara. On that leaf, Rashi Koilo. They made a mountain of bhat, rice. Randhi Randhi Tara Upara Rashi Koilo Bhat. All the cooked rice was stacked on palash leaves, which were on new cloths spread over the ground. Remember, there's no temple or floor or nothing. It's just on top of the mountain. That is why, there is no impediments for bhakti. Bhakti can be done under all circumstances because Krishna is only concerned about your love and your eagerness to please him. So with whatever you have, you can always. They didn't even have a temple. They didn't have anything. And they just spontaneously they came and they just started cooking and offering to Krishna. Just spread a cloth on the ground, and then they spread leaves from the forest, palash leaves, and they started cooking. Cooking also, you can imagine, probably just dug up a hole in the ground, and then you put some sticks in that and light fire, and maybe they get some pots from home and cook. They were just making mountains, stacking up rice, mountains of rice and rotis. And with dal, they mashed up dal, they made these buddies, and whatever spinach they could get from the forest, roots and fruits, whatever they could get, they just collected, started preparing various preparations, and started stacking them up on the ground, first spreading a new cloth and then these palash leaves, and then stacking up all these items to be offered to Gopal. Around the okay, next. Tara Pashe Ruti Rashira Parvata Hoilo. So near to that rice, on this palash leaf was rice. So near that, Tara Pashe Ruti Rashira Parvata. There was a mountain of stacked rotis. Hoilo. Next to that rice was a mountain of stacked rotis. Supa Adi Vyanjana Bhanda Chaudika Dharilo. And soup means we said soup only, right? Like liquid vegetables. Adi Vyanjana. So other preparations that were made. Bhanda. What is bhanda? Pots. So of course liquid has to be kept in pots. So they probably got clay pots. We already read that. The potters got all their pots and they kept there, right? So they were using the same pots to cook in, and the vegetables were served in pots. Soup Adi Vyanjana Bhanda Chaudike Dharilo. In all four directions were these pots with so many varieties of preparations made with vegetables, etc., grains, vegetables. Around the stack of cooked rice were stacks of chapatis, and all the vegetables and liquid vegetable preparations were placed in different pots and put around them. Chaudike means in four directions, all around. Tara Pashe Dadhi Dugdha Matha Shikarini Payasa Mathani Sara Pashe Dhari Ani. So now they are Brajbasis. What is the wealth of Brajbasis? Milk and milk products. So how can there be no milk products? So first there is rice, around that there is chapatis, and then around that all different vegetables. Tara Pashe, near that, Dadhi, yogurt, Dugdha, milk, Matha. What's Matha? Buttermilk. Buttermilk, right? Shikarini, a sweet preparation made with yogurt, like Shrikhand, I think, right? Shikarini. So Dadhi, Dugdha, and uh, Shikarini, Shrikhand, and Matha, buttermilk. So there is salt sweet preparations, right? So buttermilk can be salty, and you can also have lassi, right? Sweet. Shikarini, payas, kheer, made with rice and milk. Mathani, what's mathani? Cream. Cream. Krishna likes cream and yogurt and butter. From cream you make butter. So just cream itself. was offered to Krishna. Mathani, uh, Sara, Sara Pashe. Sara means solid cream collected over yogurt. Okay, so Mathani must be after like butter, I think, right? It says cream, but mathne ke baad, what do you get? After you churn, what do you get? Butter, right? So butter, mathani. Then Sara. Sara means the solid cream on top of yogurt. Pashe dhari ani. All these were brought and kept near to the rice and rotis and vegetables. Near that was kept milk, yogurt, buttermilk, shrikhand, uh, butter, and cream from the yogurt, payas. All these are Krishna's favorites. So even if you didn't cook anything, you can offer these things to Krishna, right? You offer yogurt, you can offer buttermilk, you can offer milk, and make shrikhand, right? How do you make shrikhand? You just put dahi in one cloth and let all the liquid come out, right? You hang that yogurt maybe for some hours or overnight. It becomes nice thick. Put some sugar and mix it, and you can flavor it, and that's shrikhand. Payas, yeah, if you have just some rice and milk, make payas, sweet rice. Then butter, so just with milk, so many preparations. So parts of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, and shikarini, sweet rice, cream, and solid cream were placed alongside the vegetables. Purport: in this kind of ceremony, which is called annakut, cooked rice is stacked like a small mountain for prasadam distribution. Yes, so that we see when we celebrate Govardhan Puja, right? So mountain is stacked, I mean rice is stacked like a mountain. And then later on that rice is served to everyone as prasadam. Heno mate annakuta korila sajana, Puri Gosai Gopalera Koilo Samarpana, Heno Mate, like this, in this way, Annakut, right? You make a big uh, mountain of rice, and that is the festival ceremony, Annakut ceremony. Korilo Sajana, they have Sajana means performance. Okay. So in this way, Annakuta Korilo Sajana. Puri Gosai Gopalera Koilo Samarpana. And Madhavendra Puri offered this ceremony to Gopal, this Annakut ceremony. In this way, the Annakut ceremony was performed, and Madhavendra Puri Goswami personally offered everything to Gopal in this Annakut. So Annakut means you just stack up all various preparations in mountains to be offered to the Lord. Annakuta, right? You make everything like mountains, stacks of rice and all other items that in large quantities you make. And the most famous is Giriraj Govardhan's, festival, Govardhan Puja. You do Annakut there. And then all that is now distributed and fed to everyone, right? So this Annakut ceremony was nicely uh, arranged. And then all the items were personally offered to Gopal by Madhavendra Puri, like that. Then, Aneka Ghata Hari Dilo Suvasita Jala. So again, after all this, water has to be given. So many, many pots of scented water was offered to Gopal. Bahudinera Kshudhaya Gopala Khailo Sakala. For so many days, Gopal was hungry. No offering, right? We don't know for how long. So many years, maybe he was there. So he had been hungry for all these days. So now, satisfactorily, he ate all that. Kshudaya, Aneka Dinera Kshudaya Gopal Khailo Sakal. He ate everything, whatever was offered, he ate because he was so hungry. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and Lord Sri Gopal, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. यद्यपि गोपाल सब अन्न व्यंजन खाइलो तारा हस्त स्पर्शे पुनः तेमनी होइलो. Even though Gopal ate all the preparations that were offered to him, and why he ate? Of course, he ate because his devotees were offering. He was accepting their love. But he was hungry. So he ate everything that was given to him. Still, even though he ate everything, by his touch, again everything manifested there. Now everything that manifested was Krishna's prasadam for everyone. He ate up everything, and by his touch, everything manifested again. Exactly like in Govardhan Puja. Although Sri Gopal ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The atheists cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in the form of the deity, can eat all the food offered by his devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti bahritam Ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. The Lord is Purna, complete, and therefore he eats everything offered by his devotees. He is Purna, complete, and therefore he eats everything offered by his devotees. However, by the touch of his transcendental hand, all the food remains exactly as before. It is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else. But after it is offered, the food acquires a transcendental quality. Because the Lord is Purna, he remains the same even after eating. This is spiritual calculation. 1 plus 1 is 1. It's not 2. And 1 minus 1 is also 1. This is spiritual calculation. So you may not calculate it materially. So even though he eats everything, still he remains the same after eating. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna. Just as Krishna is avyaya, indestructible or inexhaustible, the food eaten by Krishna, being identical with him, remains as before, right? Avyaya means what? It never decreases. Like Akshaya, Akshaya Patra, right? How much ever you take from it, it will always be full. It will always be full. As much as you take like there is 100 laddus, you take 50 from that. After you take 50, again you'll see 100 laddus there. There are so many instances like this. Srivas Thakur's home, in his courtyard, he had one plant, always had exactly the same number of flowers on it. And every day the devotees all around, like, all the Mahaprabhu's devotees would come there, gather early in the morning, picking flowers, and everyone picks flowers still, so the same number of flowers are there. And everyone comes there, they take the flowers, still the same number of flowers are there, like that. And same, the mango pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Mahaprabhu everyone would take mangoes, and every day they would perform kirtan. Every day they come back, the tree is full with the same number of mangoes throughout the year. Throughout the year. So this is the transcendental quality. There is no vyaya, right? It's not decreased. Purnamasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna, just as Krishna is avyaya, indestructible. The food eaten by Krishna, being identical with him, remains as before. Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. So that's one explanation. And the other thing is, he doesn't have to necessarily eat everything with his mouth like we do, right? Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. Anga niyasya sakalendriya vritti manti. That means what? His one anga can do the function of all other angas. Our eyes can only see, but Krishna's eyes can see, and Krishna's eyes can eat, and Krishna's eyes can procreate also. He glances on Prakriti, and immediately Prakriti is impregnated. He glances on the food which is bhoga, which is offered to him, and immediately he accepts all of it. He eats all that by his glance. So he can eat by seeing the food, or by touching it he can eat. Nor should one think that it is necessary for Krishna to eat. Oh, he needs. He does not become hungry like an ordinary human being. Nonetheless, he presents himself as being hungry and as such he can eat everything and anything regardless of quantity. Again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, you will see there were rooms filled, practically the rooms were filled up with bhoga, because for several days, right, devotees, when Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, devotees from Bengal, whenever they would go for Rath Yatra, they would carry so much prasadam, right? Especially Raghav Pandit and his sister Damayanti, they would bring so much prasadam, and other devotees also they would bring, and then they would want to offer it, so they Mahaprabhu would keep it all inside that room, and his servant Govinda, they would come and ask, "Oh, Mahaprabhu ate? What did Mahaprabhu say about this preparation?" And Mahaprabhu was not even touching it. For days and days and days, I think even months, it was just kept like that. And Govinda is feeling bad. How can I lie to them? Mahaprabhu didn't even touch what he brought. Their hearts will be broken. Oh, he didn't even eat. So much love they prepared and he didn't even eat. So he was feeling bad to tell them that. But he couldn't lie to them either that, oh, he ate and it's nice. He couldn't lie also. And then he was in so much stress. And Mahaprabhu was not eating. Anytime he would bring some offering, so and so, put it inside the room like that. So finally, he went and told Mahaprabhu, "My Lord, please, I'm in such a difficult situation. I don't know what to do. I don't want to break their hearts by telling them that you have not eaten, and I cannot lie to them." So then Mahaprabhu just said, "You've been with me all these days and you don't know how to tackle these things. Anyway, go get all that." And he just ate everything. And then Govinda was so pleased. He went and he told, and for each one after eating, he would give some, you know, compliment. And then Govinda also, he would remember for which item, which was prepared by which person, what Mahaprabhu said, he would go and tell them, and they're like so happy. And even in Navadvip Leela also we see when they perform that Abhishek in Srivas Thakur's home, uh, so many bananas, like big, not one, like hundreds and hundreds of pots of water and milk and coconuts. He would just sit there and eat everything. Mahaprabhu would just eat. So the quantity is not, so we should not calculate how much Krishna can eat. He can eat everything. That's the point, right? On one hand, he doesn't need to eat anything. He doesn't get hungry like us. uh, But still, if he wants to eat, he can eat anything and everything. He can eat everything regardless of quantity. The philosophy underlying Krishna's eating is understandable by our transcendental senses. Yes. So you won't be able to understand with material calculation. Oh, how tall is Mahaprabhu? What is his weight and how much can he eat? How? No. Material senses you won't understand. But how Krishna eats can be understood by our transcendental senses. Or if we don't have transcendental senses, then we hear from those who have transcendental senses. Yes, Vaidusha Pratyaksham. Vaidusha Pratyaksham means now their senses are all transcendental, they are not material anymore. Those devotees or acharyas, devotees who are exalted, their senses have become transcendental. With their transcendental senses, whatever they see, hear, or speak, it is all perfect, yathartha jnanam. So therefore, uh, and then when we hear from them, yes, we are also getting the actual knowledge. But for we to accept that, for us to accept that, we need to have faith, right? That is why for bhakti, what is required is faith. And it is not blind faith. The faith is not blind. It is faith in the words of Shastra, and faith in the words of Shastra, and that Shastra authorizes who is a person with transcendental senses. So then you can accept the words of such a person based on Shastra. So if we get faith in the words of Shastra, conclusion of Shastra, then we are eligible, right? So anyway, so here the Lord can eat anything and everything, but his eating can be understood only by our transcendental senses. When our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and antaras. Everything is there. We just have to do it, right? Endeavor to constantly engage our senses in uh, in devotional service. See, our senses are purified. That means they become transcendental by being constantly engaged in devotional service of the Lord. Constantly keep them like rasgullas you steep in sugar syrup, right? Like when you first cook the rasgulla, the chana, it's not sweet, but then you put it inside the sugar syrup and you leave it there for hours. It soaks up all the sugar syrup and now it becomes like sugar syrup. It's like sweet, right? So, like that, our senses now they are like that rasgulla which is not yet steeped in sugar syrup. It's not sweet. But if you just steep these senses in devotional service, what is devotional service? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right? Archanam, Vandanam, all these devotional service. You keep your senses means mind is also included, right? But at least external senses. If you're not able to do with the mind, okay, external senses. Your hands, your legs, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your nose, engage them, steep them in devotional service. Then what will happen? After a certain time, it's not like as soon as you put inside the rasgulla, immediately become. No, you have to leave it there for some time. That's why constantly you have to keep your senses in devotional service. Then what happens? Your senses will become purified, and with those purified senses, now because they are of the same quality, right, they become transcendental and they can now grasp transcendental subjects. Now you can understand how is Krishna eating, but without doing this part, the hard work. No, I don't want the hard work, I just want the fruit directly, right? I'll just take it. You won't get it. You won't get it. Why you won't get it? Because you don't have that faith. You can hear, but because you don't have that faith, it doesn't go inside. So the only solution is अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यम ज्ञान कर्माद्यनावृतम आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनम. Always engage, endeavor, even if we endeavor to do this, engaging the senses, then they will be purified by being constantly engaged in devotional service. The senses are purified. Then we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, pastimes, and entourage. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम इंद्रियै सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Yes. Okay, this is how it works. Now, you cannot understand the Lord. It's not possible. He's beyond the grasp of our senses. Then how can we understand? When we receive his mercy, then we can understand him. When he reveals himself, right? Swayameva spuratyada means he is revealing himself to us. When will he reveal himself to us? That means when will he give us his mercy? He will he will be revealed by his mercy. How can you get his mercy? When you do sadhana. Always remember that pastime of Yashodamai. She worked so hard to tie Krishna. Then Krishna allowed himself to be tied. But on her own, was she able to tie? No matter how hard she worked, was she able to tie? It's not within her capacity. But by her hard work, she got Krishna's attention. She attracted Krishna's mercy. By Krishna's mercy, then he allowed himself to be tied. Then she was able to tie. Like that, when we do sadhana, when we endeavor sincerely, that attracts Krishna's attention. And when he gives his mercy, then he reveals his uh, activities, his qualities, his names are revealed to us. So we have to do our part. He reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-234. The devotees understand Krishna through revelation. It is not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and his pastimes through research work on the non-devotional platform. Not possible. That is why what we do every day, hearing, it is not that by our intelligence we are going to understand what's going on. No, what we are doing here every day, coming, sitting and reading and hearing, is we are showing Krishna that we want Krishna's mercy. So this is our sadhana. Just like chanting 16 rounds every day is our sadhana. Coming to Bhagavatam class every day is our sadhana. Sadhana means what? Your devotional service to Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. This is your devotional service. By this devotional service, you will attract Krishna's mercy. Then by Krishna's mercy, subjects about him will be revealed to us. Then we understand how things are working. But simply by academic study, like you do for exams, like you just sit down one fine day, like for an exam, and you sit and study, are you going to be able to understand like that? No. Spiritual subjects you won't understand like that. You won't understand like that. That is why it has to be done regularly, every day. That is sadhana. So I will end there. Thank you so much. All of you, I think your Varahadvadasi is over. Today's night, but a very blessed Varahadvadasi to all of you. It's starting here today. And for you, tomorrow is Nityananda Trayodasi. And I will see you in the morning. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.